Good evening, everybody. Short meeting of the Rockport Select Board. This is Tuesday, April 16th at 6 o'clock in the afternoon, I guess. We have just a couple of items on the agenda this evening. First of all, we have in front of us the memorandum of understanding from the Rockport Library Foundation, which has been worked on over the last week or so between members of the foundation and myself and Rick worked on it as well, and Megan. The
Town council has reviewed it.
Yeah, the foundation has signed it, as you can see, so they're fine with it, and all that remains is for us to approve it on our end, and then we can put that one to bed. Does anybody have any questions about
Yes.
the document?
Rick, we were given the tract change version.
Yep.
My assumption is that only the tract changes were included in the final version.
They added in language at the end of statement of understanding, number 9. The foundation wanted to put back language that we had recommended taking out, part of the language.
So subsequent to this tract
Yes.
version, there are
Yep.
additional changes in here, all right? And could you spell those out for us all, please?
And that's under statement of understanding, number 9, the last sentence. In addition, the town shall include with each invoice package submitted to the foundation a written statement that it has reviewed the underlying invoices, vendor invoices, and has determined that the submitted invoices are for project costs and no other goods or services outside the scope of the project services are included in the invoice package. Initially, we had pulled that out and I think some other language out because it was going to mean that we were going to have, Megan was going to have to do a lot more work. This is just a blanket statement for each time we invoice them, saying that we've checked it and we're signing off saying we've checked all the invoices and
And that is the only change from the
Yep.
tract version, is that correct?
Not exactly. I mean, there are some cleanup things, like project costs were capitalized and some things like that, because I'm just looking at some that are different in this final one. But I'm assuming that other than any typographical
any
things
typos.
like that.
There were some formatting and some other things that Diane caught. And
Let
some,
me rephrase my question. Are there any other
Substantive
substantive
changes.
changes to the tract version?
nope, not that I'm aware of.
And the process is still the same. We have bills, or we'll receive bills, we'll evaluate them, we'll submit them. We will find out what they will or won't pay, and then we'll take care of the difference.
Well, we've defined in this pretty much what the definition of what is the project cost in here. So there should not be any questions at this point.
Once we get going.
Once we get going.
And my last question is, we will have money when, Megan? So we really don't have any money to pay right now until May 23rd.
We have, we have enough money in cash flow. to
Is there
pay
anything
bills.
budgeted for that? See, this is how we got in this problem to begin with.
We don't have a problem at this point. We can pay bills now, and we should be paying bills. And then the foundation will reimburse us.
Well, that's what I'm saying. The things that are not acceptable to the foundation that we get back between now and May 23rd, where's that money coming from?
That comes out of just the fund balance for now until we get money coming in on the 23rd.
We have the cash on hand, and it'll be reimbursed when the money comes in from the bond.
So let's just talk about, for example, the demolition costs, Mark. I think that, the foundation's not gonna pay for the demolition costs, but that the demolition costs are definitely coming out of the $1.5 million bond, because we did not, we don't have a budget, another budget
Yep.
place for that. And they should come out of the bond, but they're not gonna pay us back for those, but I guess we'll sit there unreimbursed for those until May 23rd, when we get the funds in from the bond, right, Megan? And then we'll pay ourselves back for those demolition costs.
Right. And anything else that
Yeah,
has been,
right. I
already
was
been
just
paid
using
or
that as an
been,
example.
may come due, that we might have to pay before May
And
23rd.
And Megan, cash flow wise, you don't have any problems with what you've heard?
Today was tax day, so.
Oh, right, yes. So we've got
We
cash.
took in over 900,000 today.
Yay, okay, so, all right.
And I think what the foundation will pay for, which is laid out in this document, the $2 million will easily be able to be used for that. The building budget, the construction budget will be more than 2 million, so I don't think we'll have any issues at all with being able to use their 2 million as they would like it to be used.
So, and I remember reading in there without digging it out, that they are going to pay up to $2 million for the project, is that correct?
That's their goal, is to raise 2 million and donate it. And then this memorandum of understanding ceases once they've donated $2 million. Now, it could be that we could extend it if they raise more money.
Well, I was gonna say, what happens if?
Yeah, then we have to have another meeting and.
Well, I mean, if we're only doing 1.5 and they're doing 2 million, and it's 3.5, and it comes in that they need 3.7, are they gonna continue their efforts?
I think that their stated purpose and their mission statement is to raise money for the successful
Okay.
building of the library. And we'll see when the bids are open this week, we'll see where they come, and it may be that at this stage of the game, if the bids come in higher than we're anticipating, that we'll have to value engineer, as they say, and we'll have to make some adjustments to the project, so that we can, because we can't really exceed that $3.5 million budget.
No, we can't. There's a couple little nits that I have in here, but I'm not gonna, because those guys signed it, I'm not gonna bring them up. I mean, I would just say that, like on number 10, on the third line, it says, oh, sorry, that's not it. Sorry, on number 11, it says that if they submit an invoice determined by the foundation should be outside the scope of project costs, the foundation, town manager, finance director, and foundation treasurer. It shouldn't say the foundation, because who's the foundation? I mean, it says that these people will have a meeting, and I assume it means the foundation treasurer on behalf of the foundation, but they shouldn't have had that original foundation in there. But, it's a nit, it's just not
It's
good draft.
superfluous and doesn't really have any
Well, it's superfluous
negative
unless they
impact
say,
on
well, we
it.
can't get everybody together, and, that holds things up, but I don't expect anything like that to
No,
happen.
I wouldn't think so.
So.
I have no other questions.
Anybody else? And I would assume that we would ask the town manager to sign this on behalf of the town, unless the board thinks somebody else should, but,
I think the town manager should.
Yep.
so I would await a motion to that effect.
I make a motion that the board direct the town manager to sign the memorandum of understanding as presented to us this evening.
Okay, we have a motion. Is there a
Second.
The second of the motion. Any further discussion on that motion? If not, all in favor? You voted yes.
Yes, I did.
Okay, thank you. Any opposed? No. 5-0 vote, so that motion carries. And once again, a big thank you to the foundation. We have to keep stating that they are paying for more than half of this project, and it's much appreciated.
So now that this is done, we can start paying some of the invoices that we're holding.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
believe
That is
so.
correct. We said, we hold until the issue's
Right.
resolved. The issue's now resolved. Once
Yep.
you sign that and the copies are executed properly, then you're good to go.
Good, thank
Ken,
you.
Ken, I know Doug had replied to one email request for information. Are you gonna address that with Mr. Cockney?
I know there was an email request about the foundation's expenses, and David, if you wanted to.
I figure while you're right here, you might as well
Yeah,
just,
yeah. I talked to Doug.
gotta introduce
before the
yourself.
meeting, David Coffey. I talked to Doug before the meeting, and as long as it's clear the foundation goal is 2 million on top of whatever their expenses are, while I think it would be nice for the foundation to be pretty open about what their expenses are, I don't see any need for it.
Yeah, they're a private foundation, and how they execute their mission is up to them. But yeah, the goal is that the 2 million is exclusive of their expenses.
I would just say one thing, they're a private foundation, but in many ways, they're effectively operating on behalf of a town function. So the town should be a little bit concerned, not that I'm thinking anything's untoward going on at all.
No, not at all.
This is not the XYZ social club that's, occasionally sends a check to the town and the town's grateful for it.
Well, they are a 501c3, and certain parts of 501c3 records are public.
Yes.
So those can be examined by anybody who makes the proper requests of the foundation.
I said, at this point, I don't see any need for it. If the answer had been it was fundraising expenses are coming out of it, that opens up a whole set of questions. Okay, thank you.
Thanks, David.
Can I make a motion on the next agenda item?
You may.
I motion Move to accept the donation from the Rockport Library Foundation in the amount of $93,556 United States dollars received on March 25th, 2019 for the construction of the new Rockport Public Library.
Second.
Second on that motion, do we want to, we have an either or here.
I laid them out so you could do them both. You could do
do 'em
the
both.
first one the normal way, and then,
I'll do the second one too when we're
Okay,
ready.
I just wanted to make sure that,
Okay.
that's, because I think the second one probably would have encompassed the first one,
Well,
but I
it-
think it's fine to do them both.
The second one does the future donations.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so we have a motion and a second on accepting that money. Does anybody have any discussion on that motion? If not, all in favor? Any opposed? 5-0 vote. And again, thank you very much.
Okay, I'd like to do it on the second while I'm at it. Move
Have
to
at it.
accept any and all future donations from the Rockport Library Foundation up to an amount of $2 million for construction of the new Rockport Public Library for the construction period of the project ending September 2020. That sentence doesn't read right.
I would put a period after the new Rockport Public Library, personally.
Let me, if I could revise
yeah,
my motion.
you can
do.
revise it however you'd like.
I move to accept any and all future donations from the Rockport Library Foundation for the construction of the new Rockport Public Library for the construction period of the project ending September 2020.
We didn't
say
have an
2 million?
amount in there. And I would suggest deleting the part about the construction period of the project, just because I think that's the construction period of the project, that's correct, but they may be raising money after that day, so.
I would suspect that
I'd
we
like to
should leave.
withdraw my motion so that it can be properly stated by someone else.
Right. I move to accept any and all future donations from the Rockport Library Foundation up to an amount of $2 million for construction of the new Rockport Public Library, period.
That works for me. Do we
I'll
have a s-
second that motion.
So now for the conversation part, do we want to limit that
Yeah,
to a
why?
$2 million?
Why
I mean,
would-
what happens if we
Yeah.
all of a sudden have to have 200,000 more than the 2 million?
Yeah, but I think
We
that,
have to have another meeting and
but I-
everything. Why
yeah,
tie
but-
our hands?
I think though that, typically we are accepting donations in certain amounts, in, like in lieu of taxes and blah, 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 in certain amounts, and to keep it open-ended, I'm not so sure that we should do that. I mean, what's the big deal in a couple of years if we, if we
Yeah,
go past that
and I think
amount?
too
we just
that-
do it
I
as
mean-
Just a
motion.
question.
It's, and my thought on it is that the foundation has pledged their secure efforts to get the $2 million, and I think if we put a higher number in there than that,
Well, I'm not
that's.
saying put a higher number, I'm not saying put a
Leave
number
it
at all.
empty.
I think putting the 2 million in there is appropriate. It lets
I do
lets
too.
the folks in town know what we're aiming for, what they're aiming for, and what they're endeavoring to do. And if we have a situation where they raise more money, we have to have another motion in another year to accept more money, I suspect that
That's a
motion
good
would
problem
be
to have.
well entertained by the board at the time.
I agree.
Any further discussion on the motion? If not, all in favor? Any opposed? That motion carries 5-0. I hear a motion to adjourn.
Yes.
Second?
Okay, all in favor of adjourning? Thank you all very much.
Woo-hoo.
All right, I'll vote.
15
Good
minutes,
job.
yes.
14 minutes.
Whoa!